Did you not worry at all that you smuggling books could somehow jeopardize the challenge, or did you believe that Jimmy would not cancel the challenge or anything for you smuggling books?
So I was definitely scared about it. Like, there was more things we could have done in the video that I could have got away with from a content perspective. But then, like, me, who has been to prison, is like, I don't want to get in trouble for this. Like, I don't want to break the rules or break the game. They would always say, it's your sandbox, do whatever, but don't break the game. So I didn't know if that classified as breaking the game. For example, when we turned down the kitchen, they had to dump all that stuff out of the kitchen to remove all the stuff that they filled in there. And it was like sitting in the rec yard one day. They had it on a cart. And I was going to steal it all. And I was like, I don't want to get in trouble. And I later found out that they would have used it as content. Like, I wouldn't have gotten in trouble for it. So their definition of breaking the game is like if we're smashing windows or prying something apart. But the books, they let me roll with it. They didn't yell at me at that. I mean, that happened on day 30, and we didn't see Jimmy day 40. The boys came for commissary, and then we got scolded for the books on day 50. But he let it rock. And they said afterwards that they wanted a reason to use solitary.
So how often were you interacting with people other than the cop?
It's very rarely. I mean, on day 1, when you're filming the intro, everyone's around, Jimmy's around, then he comes in 2 days later, that's all real. Then every 10 days he comes in to film with you. That's all real. But then you have the production team that was dressed as cop or as guards, as correctional officers. So when they would deliver the food, these are the guys that are making notes while they're watching your camera, the cameras, because someone has to physically watch the set, take notes if something happens, change your mics, and then they would feed us. So they would get the keys and they would come down the correctional officer outfit. So you get to talk to them there too. And then they had like the God mic hanging above where we would like, we gave them all names, all the guards. So we would call them like LT or shot caller. We'd come up with names and sometimes they would banter back. But for the 90% of the time, you're alone. Throughout the process, though, Jimmy would come through on tours. Like, he brought the Make-A-Wish Foundation through. All the streamers that leaked clips from the video came through at different various points. He did a lot of tours.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, so people would get to see it. And we didn't think any of that stuff was coming out. But I guess they want them to leak it.
What about like the video cameras and the audio equipment? Like, how I feel like, you know, for us, like, we have to swap the batteries. We got to do all of that. I imagine if you're recording 24/7 for 100 days, there's going to be a lot of production issues. Were there any like leaks there that you saw?
No, so they have like a full-time production team that's on it. And remember, he had 3 sets going on at the same time. He had the plane, he had the gym. We would literally yell across the Madge.
You would?
Yeah, we would. In his video at the 21-minute mark, you see us yelling, "Hey, yo," across the field to him.
Wow.
So you see that in his video. And then he came to us on day 80, day 90, and day 100 because he had gotten out by that point. So there's that. And then we saw them like setting up the whole crane for him to do the hanging challenge, like when they lifted him up and whatnot. But they would have production guys come in, change out cameras, change wires. They're always like doing stuff because they built this whole prison in 2 months. So there were some like tweaks that they had to work on. But other than that, everything's, you know, very legit. We had our vlog cameras, we had our microphones, and that was it.
How much do you think it cost to make that video?
I'd say with like talent, production, the prison, everything, probably like $3 million. That's what I think.
Makes sense, because if he's running at a loss on a lot of these videos, he probably loses a little bit on this video, but makes it back with Feastables or just brand recognition.
And over time, like, what are the estimates on those apps say? Like, that video's at 80 million views right now, and it's made like 400 or 500K in revenue. I don't know how that all works because I don't have numbers like that. But overall, you know, I'm sure long-term he'll make that money back on the video. And it's all about cash flow and getting the revenue in and more views, and, you know, and he's got Feastables and he's got everything else too.
Yeah.
And merch and sponsorships.
Is there anything in the video he didn't want the audience to know?
They don't do any, like, they take such good care of you. Even when we were in solitary, they made sure we had the AC units in there. Like you see in the video, me laying on the floor, the AC units there. They installed AC right away when they realized there was no AC in the building, and they had to get AC put in because it was in winter when we started, but then the springtime happened. They're so good about care. Like, they're not going to let you get physically hurt or anything like that. They want to make sure you're good. They're checking in on you all the time. Between casting, or they had a doctor come every 30 days to weigh us, make sure we're good food-wise and everything like that. So they're so professional in that regard.
Makes me think, speaking of getting hurt, Jimmy should do a Survivor episode of Creators. Get 20 creators together on an island and literally recreate Survivor.
That would be great.
For $1 million.
He should have all his old contestants, kind of like what Barstool's doing now with like the Barstool thing or whatever, the beach thing. But he just put out a post saying he wanted to do a Hunger Games version, like obviously no one dying, but there was like a trending post talking about the Hunger Games.
I don't know. I think Survivor's making a comeback.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people would prefer Survivor.
I think it would be good. I mean, he's got so many
drama between people.
Yeah, he's got so many different angles he could do about it.
But have them get hurt. It's like
I don't know about physically.
But I would love it as a viewer, but I think that it would cause a lot of controversy.
For creators, you just know what you're getting into. If you understand you're going to an island and you're going to have to eat bugs and coconuts, you know what you're getting into. And if you get hurt, that's part of the challenge.
If you're listening to this, Jimmy, I would win. I would win. Put me in any challenge, I'll win. I'm curious, what was your first impression of Jimmy?
So I didn't really know what to expect with him. I was definitely very intimidated by him and nervous about him on day one. I didn't know how he would be. I watched his Diary of a CEO interview with him the night before I went in. And when I met him, he's like just a really nice, good dude. Like he'll make jokes like a normal person. He played chess with me. We played basketball with him. He cares so much, especially about the people in his videos. Like some of like his directors would come and say, "Hey, Jimmy, wanted to make sure like you're generally okay," because I was always complaining about the phone call or things like that. And I'm like, yeah, it's content, I get it. So he cares a lot, and he's just a really nice dude, but he's extremely busy. So when you're there for 2,400 hours, we probably maybe spent all together 2 hours with him out of all that time. He's flying for different videos. He's recorded all these videos while we were there, and it's really cool to see the videos he worked on, like while we were in there, and what he would tell us about. But he's just a good dude. You got to respect the hustle, and I appreciate the opportunity he gave me.
What was it like going without your phone?
Dude, at first it was hard because I was always on my phone. Then it's so peaceful. When are you ever going to get a chance in life to go 100 days without a phone or any piece of electronic? When we got access to the computer in the library, it only had Wikipedia on it. It had no games, nothing, just Wikipedia. So that was like the first electronic thing. But it's refreshing, but it's also hard at the same time. But it's also nice to not have to owe anyone an answer. I think it would have been harder if I had like a wife or kids or anything at home at the time. I think that was definitely harder for Lenny.
How was it going on your phone for the first time after 100 days of not having it?
So I got on my phone like right away just to look at all of my data and stats and stuff. And there's like this clip of me freaking out because I had finally passed like 100,000 followers on Instagram. And I was so curious about how my YouTube was doing and everything. And I was just like consumed by that data and looking at it. So it was nice. And we ended up all going out with the Beast team that night. And I got drunk for the first time in like 100 days. We're at the bar.
I'm like, first time in 100 days.
Yeah.
Night before the challenge. You're getting drunk.
No, I didn't drink the night before the challenge. It was like 105 days. But anyways, I go back to the hotel room. It's like 3 a.m. and I'm trying to fall asleep and I couldn't fall asleep. So I just stayed up all night, worked, and then, got the tour of like his studio the next day and then flew home that night. But it was good to be back on the phone, connect with people, be back on social media, see what I missed. They would mess with us. Jimmy would be like, "Hey, did you see that aliens are real now? They just confirmed it." And then when you'd ask him about it, he walks away and never comes back. So there would be stuff like that. He would have streamers like give us like random stuff, random information that was like fake or whatever. He has fun with you. He would come by at like 11 o'clock at night some nights. Or what was cool to see is that whole, what was it, that challenge? The viral post about the thug life stuff with the pictures, where he was like holding up cash.
Oh yeah.
He did that at the prison. He did that while that was all going on and stuff. So that was cool to see.